Back in 2015, when Until Dawn dropped, it was very exhilarating. The concept of a decision-based horror game where every character could either live or die was exciting and very, very unique. Sporting a star-studded cast and a fantastic twist ending, Until Dawn was undoubtedly the best horror game of 2015, especially since these were apparently the top horror games of that year. I'm just gonna let that sink in for a moment. Ever since then, I've been waiting on Supermassive to drop another massive budget sequel that had a large cast and a longer runtime. Before the Quarry, they released 3 episodes from the Dark Pictures anthology series, which was decent but also fell short in my opinion. And at the time, I gave them a lot of slack because I recognized that these were clearly lower budget games that try to do a lot in a small amount of time. So when Supermassive announced that they were coming back bigger and better, I was beyond ecstatic. I actually vividly remember immediately messaging my brother and scheduling a time and day to play this game, because we rarely get an opportunity to play couch co-op games. They're just so rare nowadays. So it was Friday night, we popped popcorn and set up the big screen. We were both prepared for an Until Dawn level experience. We were hyping it all up. And it just never came, really. Through the first 8 hours of gameplay, it was just dry, repetitive humor, wide open walking simulators, and this. What is this? But I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to dissect this game into pieces to decipher why I never got the same feeling that I did all the way back in 2015 when I first played Until Dawn. Let's get into it. How do you feel when you see this photo? How about this one? And this? I can't take these characters seriously, man! Back in Until Dawn, when Josh revealed himself as the mastermind behind the entire series of events that took place that night, you could see the insanity in the way he moved. The animations were so pristine, and I could clock what each and every character was feeling without even knowing what they were saying. I can't exemplify how much it takes me out of the story when I see this on my screen. And this isn't the first time Supermassive had dodgy animations. The Dark Pictures anthology series had its fair share of shit smothered on the screen. I'm not asking for Red Dead Redemption level graphics, but if you're gonna ask me to take characters seriously and invest interest in them, I expect you to do the motion capture well.
What the fuck?
Sorry, Ethan.
Anyways, let's just move on to the story. Through talking about how these ugly ass characters. I'm just gonna come out and say it. The story is weak. I watch a lot of streamers on my off time, and this game was a hot topic for quite a while on Twitch. And in every playthrough, the players realized the werewolf twist ages before it was revealed. The first half of the game spends so much time playing up this "oh, what's happening" angle that it forgets that it actually needs to engage an audience. And when it's not playing the "oh, what's happening" angle, it's playing these dry comedic scenes. I'll be honest, I don't think I genuinely laughed even once throughout the entire playthrough.
What are butter pops?
No!
What?
I can't believe it. Okay. Pop, pop, peanut butter pops. Pop, pop, pop them in your mouth. Pop. Oh my god, they're like the greatest snack of all time.
Just bad. Really bad, man. What I don't understand is why they don't just copy the pacing they had in Until Dawn. They had the formula right there. In The Quarry, there's this entire Laura storyline that has the weirdest structure. Whoever has the misfortune of playing her character in party mode gets to play the prologue, and then is forced to sit through the entire slow first half of the game while they get to see all their other friends play. And when it does get to her storyline, all the tension is sucked out because you know that she's alive and well in the latter half of the story. She literally spoke to us moments ago. When making decision-based games, you have to be careful about flashbacks. When us as the players know our decisions don't truly matter, and a modern day equivalent of a point and click adventure game, you start to lose the only thing you had going for you. Like, did you notice how much less this game advertised your decisions mattering and the butterfly effect and this and that and the third? Like, it's because it's all manufactured. It's not real. Like, it's not here in this game. While we're on the topic of decisions, why were they so bad this time around? Break the fuel line or take the motor arm? Are we for? That's like saying collect all the items in your room and burn them in a fit of rage or take a deep breath. Like, it's common sense, bro. Like, and that's just one example. This game is littered with dumb decisions every step of the way, at least until the final act. What they really need to do is go back and dissect what made the decisions in Until Dawn work. When Mike was considering killing Emily because she got scratched by the Wendigo, it was a high pressure situation. Assuming you didn't find additional information and scout for clues, there was a genuine chance that she could turn and ruin the entire safe room and just kill everybody in there. A lot of the decisions in the game were dependent on what you've seen and experienced in the world, and because of that, I felt more interested in taking an extra second to poke around a new area. Like, how easy was it to figure out that Big Chungus Man and old dude from Detroit Become Human were not trying to murder the kids? Like, every time they showed up on screen, they were like, wait, hold up. And like, they just put their hands out or something. One of the times, he just disarms you and stares blankly in your face. Like, jeez, when did they become so heavy-handed with their writing? Come on, Supermassive. I'm mainly disappointed because I thought one of the biggest strengths Supermassive had with this formula was that slasher-esque style horror stories are incredibly simple to write. You just need to make sure that the characters you're experiencing go through this terrible situation are likable and smart enough to cater to your audience, but they missed the mark with every character this time. Every character. How is that even, like, possible? The characters in this game are so uninteresting that as I'm sat here writing the script, I simply don't even want to think about them. The thought of describing them is somehow less invigorating than the thought of the color gray. Then I hate that color, so I'm just going to speedrun it, and I'm just going to generalize each and every one of them, and that should get the point across. Okay, so first we have Laura, who I can honestly only describe as a basic NPC. Like, I'm being dead serious. She has no attributes that pop out to me. Next is Emma. Basically think of any girl from California who says the N-word when she sings along to rap songs, and you got her. Then there's Brenda Song, who plays Brenda's song. Ryan, who's supposed to be this weird loner outcast, but his build and frame just don't support that. Like, when I see Ryan, I see that kid who nobody messed with in 6th grade, but he still got good grades, so the teachers liked him, I guess. Okay, then there's Dylan, who is this outgoing but introverted introvert, if that makes any sense. I do all in all like Dylan the most out of all of them. I think he was written fine. Then there's Nick, who's Australian, Abigail, who likes Nick, and Jacob, the white male. And that's all. I really have nothing more to say about the characters other than they could have been written a lot better. I didn't feel attached to them in any way, and I felt like the writers just mishmashed a bunch of stereotypes together and said, like, yeah, that'll do. And I know what you're thinking.
Well, isn't that what slasher-esque horror films are all about?
And yes, Timmy, they are to an extent, but Until Dawn did it with nuance. Sam wasn't just some basic NPC blonde chick. Her deep sorrow for what happened all those years ago when the group pranked Josh's sister felt real, and it was a concern she openly displayed to Josh in the first half of the story. This is what made it so heartbreaking and frustrating when he was revealed to be manipulating that same friend for revenge and internet success. Like, come on, the levels in writing are just so different. Anyways, let's just move on. I'm getting pissed off thinking about the characters. Again.
And now, before the next show starts, let's enjoy an intermission. You'll find our snack bar chock full of good things to eat and drink. Tasty, tempting hot dogs, thirst-quenching soft drinks, fresh, crunchy popcorn, a complete assortment of delicious candy, and a full line of cigarettes.
Alright, now that I've kicked the game around a bit, I want to go ahead and give my compliments up to the final act of the story. The build-up was definitely not worth it, but the twist at the end and how it all connected to the old showrunner lady was pretty intriguing. Sure, it wasn't a Josh reveal level twist, but it was a pleasant turnaround that had me looking at my screen rather than asleep. And while we're on the topic of things the game did well, I want to specify I'm not saying this game needs to be more like Until Dawn, but I am saying the most effective ideas and concepts that were used in their most successful game would probably be good to look back at from time to time. The Anthology series sort of had the same problem that the Quarry has, but just different because it's not as long as the Quarry or Until Dawn. And, you know, just notice I've gone back to insulting the game. I wanted to save gameplay for last because I think it's sort of the heart of why this game did not fully click. After the success of Until Dawn, for whatever reason, the developers decided to make QTEs far easier by adding warning symbols and adding time before failure. At first, I didn't really have a problem with it, but during the thick runtime of this game, I definitely noticed a lack of challenge. It's almost as if the only way they expect you to fail is if you misread the prompt because of how confusing the symbols are.
Nick!
Eh? Help!
Oh, come on, man!
Guys, for a second I thought it was a circle, and then I accidentally pushed it aside.
And don't even get me started on the don't breathe segments. Those are so piss easy. Like, at least in the anthologies, it was like a rhythm game. You know, you had to press X along to the beats and it made at least a modicum of sense. But now it's like, detect the red area. I kid you not, I failed my first don't breathe just because I didn't understand what I was looking at. It looked like a, I don't know, an Etch-a-Sketch, and it was, I don't know, it was just wrong. Next, I want to touch on the walking sim portion of the game. I don't know what the level designers were smoking, but a lot of the locations that you wander around are mostly empty. It's like they got lazy during the creative process, and they were just like, yeah, just throw some stuff in a box render and that'll be fine. That'll do. Like, no, we want detailed locations that are awe-inspiring yet eerie. We want eye candy every now and then. I understand that the company's choice to open their games up from PlayStation to other consoles is a large part of the foundational changes that they set into place, but I still expect to find myself engaged while playing. When these core foundational values are not met through these games, everything starts to fall between the cracks, and it shows in a really weird way. Please, please, please fix the core aspects of your game, Supermassive, or nothing else will work. Overall, I'm not going to call this game bad per se. It's just, I know the potential that this company has, and I've seen them do really good work before, and to see this game released as their next big budget, big booty, big, you know, all the big everything release, it's just not up to snuff. I'm hoping that we get another big budget release from Supermassive sooner rather than later, just so they can try their hand again, because I'm pretty sure that they can succeed. The main problems with this game were the structure and the characters. If they were to get those two things right, I think I wouldn't have even made this video, because if the characters are likable and if the structure is including every player, then I really can't complain. I think if they just slow down and really apply themselves to what makes a good slasher story, they'll get back to the meat of why the Until Dawn series was so successful. Not saying that this game wasn't successful, I know that it made a big box office splash, at least in the UK, but I guarantee you, if the next game is on the same level of this one, I'm definitely gonna think twice before paying full price. Anyways, that's enough out of me. I think I've beat this dead horse long enough. I do, for what it's worth. I can't even bring myself to say I enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy. Okay, well, let me calm down. Okay, let me thank you for watching. If you got this far in the video, it means a lot to me. I want to start getting serious with these reviews. I want to start putting them out consistently. So if you support that, please drop a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And see you when I see you. Hopefully next week. I'm gonna try to do next week. I'm holding it to myself right now. I'm I'm going to do next week. There's no excuses. Pushing through it.